Radio presents the unabridged recording of The Last Breath by Kimberly Belle, performed by Janet Metzger and Mary Robinette Kowal.
Gia Andrews, April 1994. Prologue. Some guy on Oprah last week said there is no such thing as an accidental lapse of memory. That every phone call you forget to return, every errand you forget to run on the way home is a whisper of your subconscious. Listen really hard, he said, and you'll hear the reasons behind your resistance. Why do you keep putting off calling Marla Murphy back about the church bake sale? Why should your husband have to wear last week's dirty slacks? Why did you allow your misery about Dean to distract you from the fact that the letter you wrote is still upstairs, lying forgotten on the bed? Gia Andrews would especially like to know the answer to that last one. Unfortunately, she couldn't hear a thing her subconscious was trying to tell her over all Ray's sobbing. You'd think that when confronted with concrete evidence about your wife's infidelity with the next-door neighbor, there'd at least be some screaming. Screaming and cussing and angry accusations and blame. You'd think Ray would have tossed her out and changed the locks and shredded her clothes, that he would have marched next door to Dean's house, fists slinging, or maybe even shoved her onto the bed for a heated round of revenge sex. But there was none of this. There was only sobbing, which was so much worse. Gia may not have been able to hear the whispers of her subconscious, but her conscience was roaring, and it was telling her this was wrong. Wrong to have spent her afternoons in bed with a married man who was not her husband. Wrong to have let Dean talk about a future together after divorces have been settled and families have been broken to pieces. Wrong to stay in a marriage with a man she no longer loved. By now it was dark out, and Ray and Gia spooned on top of the very same sheets that still smelled of Dean. The full spring moon outside the window acted like a nightlight, bathing the room in a buttery glow. Ray's tears had finally petered out, but he was awake, his mouth pressed against her ear. She closed her eyes and tried to process what he was asking.
Let's give it a month before either of us makes any decisions.
Ray buried his face in the...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?